Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
That's the Doobie Brothers right here on KEIF 104.7 The Rocket with Jesus Is Just All Right With Me. Or is it just Jesus Is Just All Right here on a Thanksgiving morning here in Enid, Oklahoma. And this is your radio guest host, Neeley, along with my good friend Chris Aiken. What's happening, Chris?
Just ready to eat and eat and eat and eat.
Well, today, what is this? This is our third or fourth takeover here on the morning show at The Rocket?
Yeah, it's the third or fourth good show The Rocket has had in a year.
No kidding. Well, we thought we would do something special this morning, being it is Thanksgiving, and people like to sit back and reflect on all the things they're thankful for. And since Jesus is just all right with everyone, I'm sure that everybody will be mindful of that today. But another thing that you and I are thankful for, Chris, is we have a third mic today.
Yeah, we do. This is like an audition. Maybe this is like his test run to see if he's going to be the permanent third mic on the Classic Metal Show. Who knows?
Or a replacement when you decide you're tired of this.
Yeah. When I decide to die here in the next 5 years, this is the replacement. We're grooming him now.
Right. Well, people have already been introduced to this guy. He was on the morning show, I guess, one morning with Scott and Anita. And we want to bring to the third mic here on the Enid Morning Show, preteen sensation Mikey. What's happening, Mikey?
Not much, guys. What's going on with you?
We're ready to rock out some great tunes here this morning and entertain the folks here, dressing up the turkeys and getting ready to gorge themselves. What's going on at your house, Mikey? Your mom fixing something good, or you guys going out to eat?
Oh, my God. We're making up turkey and dressing and mashed potatoes and a bunch of this stuff. And it's going to be a great thing. I'm going to eat, and then sleep.
Right. So, Mikey, can your mom cook, or is she just a hack and you guys just don't tell her that her food sucks?
No, she's really good at doing the more home-style cooking. My dad has 2 culinary degrees, and one kind of odd story real quick. One morning I asked my dad for grits, like my mom makes them. Went over there, and they were just this massive gray, and it was really disgusting. And so I said, Dad, leave this stuff to Mom.
Well, Mikey, my uncle had a culinary degree too, but he had to have it removed, and now he has to wear a bag on his side.
What does it wear? Oh, what happened?
Never mind.
Was I supposed to get that?
No.
But anyway, moving along here this morning on KEIF The Rocket, we've got a pretty good show for you. This morning, we've got a big name guest going to be calling into the show. At least you have it scheduled, right, Chris?
I do. Unlike this might not be as big as announcing Tony Stevens from Foghat forming his own version of Foghat, but we've got the one and only Robert Lamb, the main songwriter, the main guy basically from the band Chicago, is going to join us later in the program.
Sure, he's one of the 4 original members that are left in the band Chicago. Of course, Chicago started out back in 1967. With 7 original members, 3 of them no longer with the band. So the 4 original members still touring as Chicago, still sounding great. There's a little known fact that I've seen Chicago over 40 times.
Jeez, that's kind of queer. Oof.
That's kind of queer?
40 times?
Well, you got to remember, Chicago's been around since 67. So they're 40 years old already.
They're Mikey to the 4th power, right?
Yeah, no kidding. So, I've seen them every year since the very early 80s, sometimes a couple of times a year. And I'm just a big fan, and I'm really stoked that we're going to have an opportunity to speak with Robert Lamb, keyboardist, lyricist for the band Chicago.
Very cool, man.
What else we got on the agenda there, Mr. Aiken?
Well, we're just going to talk about some different things. I pulled some topics to get us through. We'll do some Thanksgiving talk as best we can. Not exactly the most morning show radio friendly topics. Trying to find Thanksgiving topics. But
My goodness, what a surprise that coming from us.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm sure we'll find our spin to put on Thanksgiving.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we hope you all are having a great Thanksgiving morning, and we're glad you're tuned in here to the Rocket. So what do you say we jump into some tunage here, and we'll come back and we'll regale the folks with some fun stuff. What do you think?
Sounds like a plan to me, man.
Well, we got some Eddie Money on tap here, and our good friend and third mic here, Mikey, he's been doing a little background information on a lot of the music that we're playing here this morning. Can you tell us anything about Eddie Money, Mikey?
Sure can. Eddie Money was born Edward Joseph Mahoney. He was born March 21st, 1949. His instruments are he, of course, does vocals. He plays saxophone, harmonica, and keyboards. He wanted to be a police officer, but eventually he scrapped that and became a musician. He eventually got a recording contract with Columbia Records, and money continued.
Did you find Mikey when you were looking him up? Did you find out that he was a raging drunk?
Yeah, my dad. In fact, I have another odd add-in to that. My dad and mom went to go see him in concert, and he stood right in front of my dad, and my dad said, "You're Eddie Money," and he says, "Oh, yeah, I am."
Okay.
Yeah, so
why don't you change that story up and make it more interesting, Mikey, saying your dad was right in front of him and said, "Hey, you're Eddie Money," and he goes, "Yeah, you're right," and then he threw up on him.
I can't distort the facts. That's what happened. He didn't puke on him. I mean, when he came home that night, he didn't smell like puke.
Right. All right, Mikey, well, why don't you introduce the next song here?
Okay, this is going to be Eddie Money with Give Me Some Water on 104.7 The Rocket, the morning show.
Ho, ho, ho. Or I'd like some. This is Kevin DeBro from Choir Rye. We want to wish you all happy holidays on the Classic Metal Show.
That's Boston right here on 104.7 The Rocket with We're Ready, and we're ready to get into some more stuff, right, Chris?
Yeah, we are, man. Now, since we played some Boston, Mikey, do you know anything at all about Brad Delp of Boston?
Brad Delp, I think, killed himself, didn't he?
Yeah, he killed himself. Do you know how he killed himself?
Self-inflicted gunshot wound?
No.
Click, bang?
No.
Or did he lay down in a small powder room with barbecue grills? Carbon monoxide poisoning killed him?
Yeah, what a way to go, Mikey. Where in the world would anybody think, hey, I'm going to lay down on the bathroom floor, fire up 2 barbecue grills, and just die of asphyxiation?
Heck, if I want to die, I want to do it quick. Load the 40, guys.
Nice. Well, look at you. You already got that planned out for such a young man.
I don't want to kill myself. I have too much to live for.
12 years old and already contemplating death. Way to go, Mikey. Your parents must be so proud.
I'm not contemplating death at all. I just said that to get a laugh.
Yeah, well, it worked.
Well, they always say in every joke there's a shred of truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's not true.
Okay.
Because I have a bunch of stuff to live for.
All right, Neeley, make sure you cut this and send it to the local shrink there in Maryland so that we can get this handled.
Right. Well, Mikey, not knowing exactly what the setup was there with Brad Delp in Boston and him taking his own life, do you suppose that he was kind enough to maybe throw some burgers or some brats on them grills so when they found him that they at least have something to eat as they dragged him out to the hearse?
It would be most certainly funny. I mean, if I was a cop going in there, seeing the guy dead wouldn't be funny, but seeing that he cooked something for me, hey, I'd take it.
Hey, kick that body out of the way. I got to flip this burger.
Yeah,
I got a burger to eat, dude. This thing is just how I like them. Full bloody raw. Because the barbecue grills went out. The guy just passed out.
Oh, nice.
How come this burger's warmer than the body?
Wow. Look at us talking about death and morbid stuff on Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, people.
Very nice.
The most morbid show on the airwaves now.
Exactly. So, what are we getting into here, Mr. Chris? Being it's Thanksgiving, this probably would be a good idea to do what?
Well, I think we should probably find out, especially from the youth here, what exactly there is to be thankful for right now. Because it's been, you know this, I know this, 2008's been a pretty tough year, on a lot of people when it comes to jobs and life and, everything that's going on. I figure maybe we could get things into a festive mood by talking about what we're thankful for.
Well, what are you thankful for there, Mikey?
I'm thankful for my mom and my dad for all they've done for me, pushing me forward so I can be here and always opening me up to new doors. Thankful for my teachers for all they've done to help me learn over these since the beginning of the school year started in August. And I'm thankful that I'm here.
What, here on the rocket or here on this earth?
Here on this earth and on 104.7 the rocket.
I don't know if that's something to be thankful for. I mean, Jesus, they need the help.
Well, you can get listeners from Sweden calling it, listening to a show that's like halfway around the world and not on the internet. Then you have something to be proud of.
Well, you do know, Mikey, that the rocket does play to 1 million listeners at any given point in time, don't you?
No, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
So right now you're talking to 1 million people, but don't be nervous.
I'm not. Hey, guys.
According to Scotopedia, the rocket is heard all around the world.
Scotopedia? He has his own Wikipedia? My God, this guy's bigger than I thought he was.
So what about you, Neeley? What are you thankful for? Anything, or are you just thankful that 2008 is pretty much done?
Well, 2008 for me personally hasn't been too bad. It's been an average year for me. Just doing business outside of the radio deal, the classic metal show, which you and I work very hard at. We're coming into our 13th year of doing the show. We've had some tremendous guests over the year. Business, the actual thing that makes me money has been doing okay. And there's a bright outlook for 2009 despite all the downturn in the economy and whatnot. And I'm healthy and I'm here, so that's all I can tell you.
Well, I'm glad you guys have something to be thankful for. I'm thankful that death is a day nearer than it was yesterday. What do you think of that?
What, do you want to blow your brains out?
Maybe. Now that would be a hell of a radio stunt.
Well, you'll be joining Brad Delp before you know it.
That's right. It's going to be me, two grills, and the classic metal show fading in the background.
Right.
Or it could be like, who's that guy that did Seasons in the Sun? Can't think of his name.
Terry Jacks.
Because he wanted to kill himself too.
No, I think he was dying. He was dying.
Better he was dying.
Yeah, well, it wasn't he wanted to kill himself. He was dying.
What did he die from? Anyone know?
Well,
anyone even care?
Did you listen to our Seasons in the Sun bit we did here on the Rocket, Mikey?
I haven't listened to it.
You didn't get the whole gist of what that was all about.
Oh, that he died from a STD.
I don't think that was mentioned in the song, Mikey. We have no idea what he was dying from.
But could that possibly be it?
It could have been. You can make up your own story where that's concerned.
Nah, I'm not going for the disgusting one. I have that picture out of my head right now. Oh, God.
Well, Mikey, what are you looking forward to in 2009, man? I mean, you've come from basically just being another scumbag kid to being an internet sensation, man. What are you looking for now? A TV show or something?
I don't want anything like Kennedy, but I'm looking forward to the CMS, the 13th anniversary show. I'm looking forward to that. Getting the heck out of 7th grade because I only have one more year in school. And looking forward to summer 2009.
You only have one more year of school. Then what? Are you off to college already?
No. I only have one more year of junior high, and then I go to high school.
Oh, okay.
College and beyond.
So what goes on in junior high these days? It's been like 1,000 years since Neeley or I have been there. What do you guys do in junior high now?
Whiny little bratty kids who think they're all it.
Yeah, like the one on the mic right now.
I don't even have a response for that.
Well, Mikey, tell me how many of your friends or your classmates are radio show hosts or guest hosts?
Debbie or resounding now. None of them.
Well, see, then you're already above them.
Somewhat. I mean, I'm still trying to retain the same. I'm still the same person I was, just different things I do on Saturday nights.
Do you not just look at them and say, "What losers, man! I can't be around these other 12-year-old douches."
No, because some of them are my friends in that school, and I'm not gonna trash a friend.
How can they be your friend? They're below you.
No, they're not below me. They're equal to me. I'm all getting laid and getting paid.
I don't think so. But well, hey.
Sorry, Mom.
Well, Mike.
I had to do it. Dad tossed me the note.
Well, Mikey. Now that you're on the radio and you're a featured guest on the Classic Metal Show on Saturday nights doing CD reviews, and you're obviously co-hosting with us here this morning on KEIF 104.7 The Rocket. Do your friends treat you differently? Do they ask you for an autograph, or maybe want to take a picture with you, or ask you to make a guest appearance at their birthday parties or anything like that?
Because none of them know anything about it. The only person that knows about it is Mr. Williams or Mr. Scott.
Well, are you ashamed of your newfound stardom?
Nope. He listens. I asked him if he'd listen tonight. I'd asked him if he'd listen today.
Does he listen to just when you're on, or does he listen to me and Neeley when you're not on?
No, he listens to all of it. He listens to when you guys are on, and me, and when I do my CD review, and this and that, and so it's fun.
Wow. We can expect to be in jail anytime now, Neeley.
Sure.
No, you guys aren't No, you guys shouldn't expect to be in jail at all. You guys haven't done anything wrong.
So does
it's all with parental consent.
So does your teacher enjoy the Classic Metal Show? The normal Classic Metal Show on Saturdays then?
No, he listens because he knows I'm on. But other than that, no. One of them said they had to hide their head under a pillow because they just because they didn't give me any real reasoning.
Great.
So they're going to be listening this morning then?
Yes. At least I hope one of them should be.
Well, good.
But you don't tell your friends about it?
I do not tell them at all.
Well, how come?
Because I don't trust them, because I know they could run back to their parents. Oh, you know what Mikey's doing? Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Do you wear your shirt, your CMS shirt?
I've worn it once when I was out in the mirror and we went to pick up my homework. Yeah. I wore it then, but other than that, I've never worn it to school.
Well, that's right. You have to wear like a uniform, don't you?
Yeah, we have to wear a button-down shirt, a tie, and dress slacks and dress shoes to school.
Well, you got to wear a tie to school? Ugh.
Yeah, but I go to Catholic school, so.
Well, Mikey, being that your father obviously is a metalhead and enjoys what we do, how is
what about Mom?
Well, I don't know enough about your mom to make that assessment.
She likes some metal, not all of it, but she likes some of it.
Yeah, like Poison and Trickster and Kick Tracy and stuff like that.
Some of the mellower stuff, not the harder. Not like Slayer.
Yeah, that was kind of my point. But
okay, yeah.
Anyway, being that your dad is such a metalhead and such a fan of the show, and basically you found the show through your dad. How is it that your parents are so straight-laced when your dad obviously is a big partier?
Because my mom keeps it together. She's the one that will tell us, no, you can't say that, you can't do that. Don't do that or I'll take away your PlayStation. Don't do that. You're going to get it if you say that.
So what does your dad do when your mom takes his PlayStation away from him?
No, mine, when my mom takes mine away from me, I cry from withdrawal syndrome.
That's kind
what does she take away from your dad? Does she take something away from your dad or not let him have something?
My dad's cracking up back here because he gets the gist of that joke. And so do I, but But anyway, no, she can't take anything away from him. He's over 21.
Oh, believe me, she could take something from him.
Yeah, I kind of catch the gist of that, Mr. Chris. I catch your drift.
Excellent.
It's pretty highly out there.
All right, Mikey. Well, we're going to jump back into some music here. We're enjoying our time this morning on KEIF, the Rocket Morning Show, and obviously, Chris, this has probably been the best show that they've had since Scott and Anita retired.
Oh, long before that, those two sucked.
I don't know about the new morning show, but evidently they didn't want us to cover both this morning and Friday. They wanted to do the Friday show.
Well, they got their own talent there, and that's cool. Hey, I'm just happy to have the opportunity for one day.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm gonna tell you what the listenership for this show this morning is through the roof, only because we have Robert Lamb of Chicago coming up here pretty quickly.
I know, that's going to be great, huh?
Absolutely. So, Mikey, we're going to jump into some Chicago here, probably one of their biggest selling singles from the 70s, Saturday in the Park. What can you tell us about Chicago?
Well, I can tell you a decent amount about Chicago. Chicago is a rock band that was formed in '67 in Appalachia, Chicago, Illinois. The band began as a politically charged and sometimes experimental rock band and later moved to predominantly softer sound, becoming famous for producing a number of hits and ballads. They had a decent line of them for the 70s and the 80s. Second only to the Beach Boys in terms of the singles and stuff, Chicago is the longest running and most successful U.S. pop rock and rock and roll groups.
Excellent. All right, Mikey. Well, this comes from 1973, I believe, Saturday in the Park. And this is Neeley, Chris, and little Mikey on KEIF 104.7, the Rocket Morning Show.
This is Vinny Appice, drummer from Black Sabbath and Dio, wishing you a happy holiday.
That's Led Zeppelin right here on KEIF 104.7, the Rocket Morning Show, here on this Thanksgiving morning with the Traveling Riverside Blues, Chris. And I know you're a huge Zeppelin fan, and do you remember when that song was released?
It was released on the box set, right? When they first released the box set, it was like one of the rare unreleased tracks. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I purchased that box set when it came out. CDs were still fairly new at that time, and for them to put the Zeppelin collection in a box set, that wasn't the whole collection. It was just 4 CDs. And as an added bonus, they found this old track, Travelin' Riverside Blues, that hadn't been released before. And that thing got played on commercial radio like crazy, if you remember.
Oh, it was huge. Yeah. So let me tell you how I got this box set. This is one I don't think I've ever told you, but this is a very true story. So you remember that box set at the time. It was about $80-$90. It was really expensive.
Yeah, it was the size of an actual record album.
Sure. So I actually couldn't afford it, but I was working a part-time job. I was in the service, but I was working a part-time job on weekends at a record store in California called The Warehouse. And I was closing one night, and I just, I was taking out the trash and just happened to bump one into the trash. And
oh, nice.
On the way out, and took the bag home with me, took the warehouse trash home with me to unveil my brand new Led Zeppelin box.
And being that it was brand new, it was covered in plastic, so it didn't get any kind of gook on it or nothing.
That's exactly right. Mint condition. You steal something like that, Mikey?
No, I don't steal.
Right.
I did one time when I was like 4. I accidentally took some rocks from this nature store, and I got like TV taken away for like a week. It wasn't really that bad. I was like 4. I didn't even know what I was taking.
If you're going to steal something, why steal rocks?
I know, but we were in a nature store, and I looked at it and said, ooh, look at the pretty rocks. I'm going to take one. There you go. That fast.
Nice.
I love it that you're 12 and you have a theft story.
At 4 years old.
Yeah, I didn't know I did it, though, until I got outside.
Well,
I pulled out this rock, and Mom said, where'd you get that, Mikey? I said, oh, I don't know. I said, did your dad get it for you? I said, no. Let's take it back to that store right now, young man.
Ugh.
Nice.
Yeah. Tell your mom to stop being such a goody two shoes. Just keep the rock.
All right, Mikey. Chris and I were discussing the Traveling Riverside Blues song. It's probably one of our favorite tunes from Zeppelin. Is that one of your favorite tunes, Chris? I'm just assuming that.
Absolutely. One of probably the top 5 songs in their catalog. It's a great song.
It is a great song, and I'm glad that we have it. But, Mikey, there's some controversial lyrics that were contained in this song, and I thought I'd play the lyric here for you, and let's talk about what you think that he's talking about here.
Okay.
Squeeze my lemon till the juice runs down my leg. Squeeze it so hard I fall right out of bed. Just squeeze my lemon till the juice runs down my leg. I wonder if you know what I'm talking about. I went away that you squeeze it, girl. I swear I'm gonna fall right out of bed. I need a good rider.
So, Mikey, Robert Plant says, squeeze my lemon till the juice runs down my leg. What do you think he's saying there?
Oh, God, I don't know how to talk. I know what it means, but I don't know how to talk my way out of this because I can't say anything like this on the rocket that I really kind of need to say in order to get the point across.
Well, what are you thinking he's talking about? Do you think he's actually talking about a real lemon?
No, I don't. I think it's an analogy to something else.
Well, what else? A toe?
No. Sexual organ located in the lower abdominal area. No, there's your talking around it right there.
And what's running down his leg?
Another thing, I gotta kind of skirt my way around right here. Because my mom's sitting here and she has the hook ready to pull the headset off.
Does your dad like that song?
Your dad do like Traveling Riverside Blues? He said it's not bad. I'm not sure how to skirt my way around the what runs down his leg thing.
So why would he call it a lemon? What do you think that he's trying to say there? Why would it be a lemon?
Because it's the closest analogy you can play on commercial radio.
Well, why wouldn't he say, I don't know,
hot dog.
A hot dog and beans?
I don't know why, because lemons have juice in them?
Well, are you familiar with the Led Zeppelin catalog, Mikey?
Yes.
Are you familiar with a song called The Lemon Song?
Yeah, I am. He used it in that, too.
So what do you think Robert Plant was thinking when he was thinking lemons?
I don't know how. It's another thing I gotta kind of skirt my way around. You guys stick me in these sticky situations.
Well, Mikey, do you like to eat fish? You like fresh fish?
I like fresh fish.
Do you know people like to squeeze lemon on fish, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Okay. I mean, I know what it means, but I just don't want to say it.
Little flounder with some lemon sauce, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which I actually like.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, why don't we move along? That's pretty much a bad topic, Neely.
Sure it is. Well, what do you got next for us, Mr. Aiken? I know you have something on your mind there.
Well, no, I was thinking that maybe what we should do is, while we're analyzing songs, I thought maybe one of the next songs we were going to play was something by Gordon Lightfoot, and you and I have one idea of what this song means, but I mean, maybe having Mikey give a listen to it and picking it apart a little bit, we can see just exactly, what the youth of America think of this song.
Sure. Mikey, are you familiar with the Canadian crooner Gordon Lightfoot?
No, I am not.
Well, I happen to be a Gordon Lightfoot fan. I've actually met him and been to numerous shows, and he's a very solid performer. The guy is almost 80 years old, and he's still out there just, doing... Go ahead.
Is he the guy with the long ponytail?
No.
Oh, that's Scott.
Okay. yeah, Scott with the little bow tie in there. Scottalina. Yeah.
Scottalina.
Catalina.
All right, Mikey, there's a song that Gordon Lightfoot released back in the early 70s, too. And it's really amazing. Here we are in 2008, closing in on 2009. And the risque music that was being played on commercial radio is really mind-boggling at this juncture in the game. Especially the Lemon song or the Travelin' Riverside Blues.
Yes.
So what do you call that when you can when you can say something without saying it in a derogatory or negative way?
I call it skirting your way around it. I don't know what the technical term on it is.
Chris, any idea what's the name for that?
Oh, I don't know. Getting away with it. I don't know.
Isn't it using what is it called? Using a metaphor?
Yeah, metaphor,
yeah,
analogy.
Yeah. Well, Gordon Lightfoot had a song. He was very popular, mostly in the 70s. Probably his biggest song was "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald."
Yeah, what a dud that is.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Right.
It's not bad.
And he had some really huge songs with "If You Could Read My Mind" and "Sundown" and "Carefree Highway" and a lot of good tunes. Well, one tune in particular, Mikey, that's become a classic rock staple is the song "Sundown," and we're going to analyze the song a little bit this morning on the Rocket and get your take on what you think it means.
Okay.
So let's play a little of this Gordon Lightfoot "Sundown."
Listen close.
I can see her lying back in her satin dress in a room where you do what you don't confess.
What do you think that means, Mikey?
Yeah, I think that means some sort of, oh God, I don't know how to put this. You guys stick me in these sticky situations. I don't know how you word this to
So
where I
what
can
room do
get
you
away
think
with
they're
it.
in, Mikey?
What?
What room do you think that they're in?
The bedroom?
Why would they be in there? Why not the kitchen?
Because, why do you guys stick me in these situations? And now I can't say what I need to say.
Sure you can.
I can't. Mom's sitting here, and I know if I say it, she's gonna kill me. So, thank you once again for sticking me in our situation.
Well, all they did was say that they're in a room.
He says we're in a room where you do what you don't confess. It's definitely not a church confessional, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not a church confessional, and it's definitely not like the most holy room in the house.
Think they're smoking a little weed? Is that what they're doing?
No, maybe that and doing other things, but
What do you think they're doing? A little kissing?
more than that.
More than that?
Yeah.
What's more than that? I have no idea.
Yeah. You guys stick me in these situations waiting for me to slip up and say something I shouldn't.
Do you think she's squeezing his lemon till the juice runs down his leg?
Oh, yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, let's listen.
Sundown, you better take care. If I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care. If I find you've been creeping round my back stairs.
What's that girl doing creeping around behind his house there?
What could she be doing? Coming over to see him?
Well, why doesn't she just walk up to the front door and ring the front doorbell?
Because he could be a kid. He could have wrote this song when he was little.
Kid.
Could be a kid. I don't know. I'm taking my best guess at it.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll go. So what we got here is we got a kid with a lemon. We got it.
Yeah, kid with a juicy lemon. Don't
Being
forget that.
squeezed.
Yeah, he needs squeezing.
She's been looking like a queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means.
what do you think? What do you think that's all about? She's looking like a queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means.
I have no clue. Could the guy be high when he wrote this song? I don't know.
So we got a high kid with a lemon.
We got a high kid with a juicy lemon. You're always getting the juicy part.
Well, what about looking like a queen in a sailor's dream? What do sailors, in a traditional sense, always dream about? What are they dreaming about?
Women.
Women, mostly mermaids, right?
Yeah.
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 And what do you think that means? She don't always say what she really means.
I don't really know what she and she doesn't always say what she really means. I don't really get that.
Maybe she's a liar.
Okay, maybe she's contradictory. I don't know.
Could be.
So we got this lying chick with this kid with a lemon that's juicy and being squeezed.
Creeping around his back stairs.
Late at night.
While dreaming about sailors.
Wearing a satin dress.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. I can picture every move that a man could make. Getting lost in her loving is your first mistake.
So what do you think that means?
I'm looking. I really have no clue. I don't know.
You don't think that he's being lulled in by the seductiveness of this mermaid in a satin dress?
Yeah, he could be.
But what's he being lulled into?
You guys are sticking me in another sticky situation where I can't say it.
Yeah, it's sticky, all right, Mikey.
Yeah, if I was on the CMS 6-hour show, I could say what I really mean, but I can't.
Oh, you could say it. We got a beep button.
No, because if I use any profanity, Mom's gonna.
Why does it have to be profane?
I don't know how to put this.
Well, Gordon Lightfoot and Robert Plant have been able to say what they need to say without using profanity. But you know exactly what they mean.
Well, put it in terms. I'm 12. I can't put things in the terms too well. I know what I could say, but my mom's sitting here and I'm on the rocket, so I can't say what I need to.
All right, let's move on.
Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping down my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again. See her looking fast in her faded jeans. She's a hard-loving woman, got me feeling mean.
What does that mean, Mikey?
I could see she's hot in those faded jeans.
Yeah?
I thought she was a mermaid, though.
Well, that's the way you guys phrased it.
Okay. So she's looking mighty fast in her faded jeans. You think she's a runner in a marathon or something?
Race car driver?
No.
No?
No.
What do you think that means then?
She's a hard-loving woman. She's got me feeling mean. What does that mean?
God, I don't even know how to put this into words.
Well, you haven't been very helpful on this song, Mikey.
Trying to figure it out, Mikey. We need your help, man.
Well, my mom's got the hook back there. My mom has the hook back there. You guys, I know you have a bleeper, but I'm not gonna say it.
It's a good thing your mom didn't have the hook 12 years ago.
Jesus.
But my mom's telling me to explain it like I'm talking to a child. Well, you really can't discuss that kind of topic with a child that doesn't know anything. If I had to, I'd have to think about it for a while.
All right, well, let's see what Gordon has left for us in the song.
Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping around my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping around my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning, when I'm losing again.
All right, Mikey. So for a song that was, out in the early 70s, do you think that was appropriate material for commercial radio?
Since he worded it the way he worded it, and he used decent metaphors with it, I say, yeah, he pulled it off pretty well. He pulled it off better than I could because I can't explain it.
Well, that song is closing in on 40 years old, and they were singing that way on commercial radio.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I mean, now you can't. Now if you probably played that, you get a lot of emails saying you can't play that. You can't play that. People know what that means. People know what that means. People know what that means.
All right, Mikey. Well, we just thought we would get a 12-year-old's take on a 35, 40-year-old song, and obviously, even you can't, explain it in its entirety.
Well, I can't explain it because I'm on the rocket this morning.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna say what I really mean because if I do, I'm gonna get busted by my mom.
Nice. All right, Mikey. Well, since we were talking about Gordon Lightfoot and the song Sundown, we might as well jump into the song Sundown, and we'll come back, do some more stuff, and coming up here real soon here on the KEIF 104.7, The Rocket Morning Show, we're going to be speaking with Robert Lamb, lyricist, keyboardist, founding member of the band Chicago. Are you excited about that, Mikey?
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
Legendary. The guy has been part of a group that has sold close to 200 million records worldwide since 1967. So it's a real honor to have a guy like him on the morning show.
Yes, must be.
All right, Mikey. Well, since you've explained the Gordon Lightfoot song so well, why don't you introduce the next song?
Okay, this is going to be Gordon Lightfoot with Sundown on your 104.7 The Rocket Morning Show.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God from Judas Priest, wishing everybody a very heavy metal, happy holiday, Christmas, New Year season. Keep the metal alive.
It's 104.7 KEIF, the morning show here on The Rocket, and that's AC/DC from their latest release, Black Ice with Rock and Roll Train. And Mikey, what do you know about AC/DC?
Well, AC/DC, they're a hard rock band from Sydney, formed in 1973 by brothers Malcolm and Angus Young. The band are considered pioneers of heavy metal, but they're always classified as rock and roll. Right.
We had original AC/DC vocalist Dave Evans on the Classic Metal Show before AC/DC actually recorded anything, and you would think that this guy was responsible for the AC/DC legacy before Bon Scott and, of course, Brian Johnson, but... he
did kind of sing all the big hits, like, and also that one.
Well, I went to see AC/DC a few weeks ago here in the Chicago area, and after 35 years, those guys still can put on a tremendous show. Have you been able to go see AC/DC, Mikey?
No, I can't. I don't think they're coming around our area.
Well, the last time they toured, you were 4.
Yeah. I don't think I can remember a lot when I'm 4.
When were you born, Mikey? What year were you born?
1996.
That was the last time I saw AC/DC. They were on their Ball Breaker tour in '96, so I was seeing AC/DC when you were just a twinkle in your dad's eye.
Great year to see him then. I was born.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Mikey. Well, we've got a special guest coming up here in a couple of minutes. We got to get him on the phone, and we've been talking about this. We're very excited to have Robert Lamb, vocalist, lyricist, keyboard player, founding member of the band Chicago. They've been around, 41 years now. And what else can you tell us about the band Chicago?
They were formed in 1967.
What else can you tell us there, smart guy? You already told us this list.
I'm trying to...
You don't know. I'll tell you what you can know about Chicago. Peter Cetera sucked. I'm glad he left.
I don't wish anyone would die, but...
Nobody said anything about anybody dying.
He just left the group.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say.
What about wasn't that the band, Neeley, with the one guy that blew his head off by cleaning his gun?
Yeah, he was cleaning.
Oh yeah, Brett Delp.
No.
No, that's Boston. I'm sorry. The other guy.
Terry Caff. Terry Caff.
Yeah, there he is. Terry Caff. 1967 to 78. He died of an accidental death.
Right. Well, a lot of people
believe that?
Was it really? Yeah, I almost asked that. Was it really accidental?
Well, a lot of people thought originally that he was playing Russian roulette, but of course you play Russian roulette with a pistol that has a barrel in it rather than an automatic. He was cleaning one of his semi-automatics with a clip and accidentally left a bullet in the chamber, and his road technician, he was at his road technician's house, and he was kind of depressed, and his road technician told him to be careful with the gun, and Terry said, "What do you think I'm going to do? Shoot myself?" And he held the gun up to his head, evidently, and pulled the trigger, and there was a bullet in the chamber, and he did kill himself right then and there.
Was it really accidental, or was that kind of like planned ahead of time?
Well, they say it was accidental, but who knows? All right, Mikey. Well, Chicago has released a CD that was meant to be released back in 1993, I believe it is. It's called The Stone of Sisyphus. Do you know anything about that?
Not much about it. I mean, I know that Stone of Sisyphus, I don't know much about it.
Do you know who Sisyphus was?
Sisyphus. No, I had no clue who he was.
He's a mythological character that was trying to push a stone up a hill, but he could never make it to the top, and every time he, got so far up the hill, the stone would push him all the way back down.
Ouch, that's a rough landing.
So the CD was shelved in the early 90s, and finally it's been released as an official release. It's in the stores now. You can go pick it up. Excellent tunes on there. A Harder Edge of Chicago. And let's jump into one of these newer tunes off the Stone of Sisyphus release, and we'll get Robert Lamb on the phone. How about that, Mikey?
That sounds great. I may have to go pick up the CD as soon as I'm tomorrow morning.
Excellent. All right, well, here it is. This is from the latest release from Chicago, Stone of Sisyphus, and this is your title track exclusively here on KEIF 104.7, The Rocket Morning Show.
What's up, everybody? It's David Ellison here. Happy holidays to you. Enjoy.
It's KEIF 104.7, The Morning Show, and this is Neeley along with my good friend Chris Aiken, entertaining you over this Thanksgiving holiday weekend. How about it, Chris?
It's great, man. How about this guest, man? I really pulled a good one, huh?
Yeah, you did, and I was really surprised when you told me that we would be having a special guest this morning on The Rocket, and well, this is probably one of my all-time favorite bands growing up as a little kid. I played this band incessantly to where my parents took my records away. That's a true story. And on the phone with us, we have the one of the lead singers and keyboardists and founding members of the great band Chicago, Robert Lamb. Welcome to the KEIF, The Morning Show, Robert.
Hey, thank you so much, and happy Thanksgiving to you and everyone listening.
Well, Robert, I got to tell you, my partner Chris told me he was lining up a special guest, and he and I have been good friends for a long time, and Chicago was my all-time favorite. It still is first band as a kid.
Well, I think we've all had our favorites. Music is so important to kids growing up. They attach it's sort of a secret form of communication to each other, and it really kind of forms who we become later on in our lives once we become adults. But so I'm really honored that Chicago was so important to your adolescence.
Oh, it was, and believe me, I grew up in a household where rock music was the devil's music, and being that you guys had long hair and you played rock music, it was just like, we don't want our kid growing up like those guys, those drug-addled rock stars, you know. But looking back here 30 years or so later, you know, what you guys did was just absolutely phenomenal. You guys are just, phenomenal musicians, and you never sang about drugs and sex and, all the bad things that parents were always afraid of.
Well, not so you really could tell anyway.
Well, Robert, Neeley has seen you in Chicago at least 30 times right now. What did that buy you? A garage or something?
Well, I think more than that, it speaks to the craziness that some fans get into. We have a fan. I won't say his name, but we have a fan who is a member of the United States Congress who has seen us over 100 times.
Well, actually, go ahead, Robert.
I don't know what that bodes for the future of our country politically, but at least he's got pretty interesting musical tastes.
Well, Robert, I've been going to Chicago concerts since 1980, since I was old enough to start going to shows, and I've probably seen you in excess of 40 to 45 times, which And
what have you noticed? Let's say every 5 years, let's say you started going to shows in the 70s. What have you noticed over the years?
Well, I noticed that the production is much more slick. You guys used to be more like a jam band, and you used to stretch out a little bit more. But the show,
and that was sort of the style of the day. That's kind of how. It's kind of how rock, especially the rock that Chicago is playing. I mean, let's face it, when the band started, we were more of a prog rock style band than anything else. And that was sort of the style of the day. I mean, everybody was playing. I mean, when I say everybody, I mean most bands were playing rather long songs with long jam sections or at least long guitar solos. So, we very much fit into the style of the day.
Right, and not only that, but it seemed to me anyway, from what I remember, that the music was a little more harder edge too, because you guys had so much percussion in there, and you had always had great guitarists. Of course, you had Donnie Dacus then, and then you had Chris Pinnock, and then Dwayne Bailey. These guys were very accomplished guitarists in their own right, but all
getting the most important name, and that's Terry Kath, who's probably one of the signature greatest guitarists ever in rock history.
Right. Well, the unfortunate thing is I didn't get to see Chicago when Terry was with the band, and
what a shame.
Yeah, I know. And, well, I was just a young kid then, and, of course, I wasn't allowed to go see these rock concerts and whatnot. But speaking of Terry Kath, one of the most key members of the band, very influential in the direction that the band took originally. And it's unfortunate that it's been over 30 years since his passing.
Well, I'll tell you an interesting fact is that his daughter, Michelle, is now undertaken what will be a pretty interesting documentary about Terry Kath's life, the musicians that he influenced, the respect from his contemporary guitarists, from Eric Clapton on down, who appreciated his skills, and that's a film that's currently being made. There are a lot of people being interviewed, and I think we'll probably see that film within the next year or two.
Excellent. Well, I'll be looking forward to that for sure.
And you'll get to see performances.
Great. Absolutely. Well, I am a avid collector of Chicago memorabilia, and I do have a bunch of old footage, from the back in the day, from anywhere from the 60s into the, current lineup. And so
there's so much stuff also on YouTube that's vintage footage. very easy to see after all the years.
Right, absolutely. Well, Robert, one question I've always wanted to ask you, even though I've met you and spoken to you in person on a couple of occasions, one thing, I guess this has probably been something that's been asked over the years. A song that you did on the Carnegie Hall four album box set was a song for Richard and his friends. Why was that never recorded as a studio release?
Well, there is actually a version of it that's on a reissue of my Skinny Boy album, Skinny Boy 2.0. Skinny Boy was my first solo album that I recorded in the 70s at the Caribou Ranch. And about a year ago, I reissued it, and I discovered some outtakes of a song for Richard and his friends that I did for that album. Because actually, I had written it for my solo album, and when the other fellows heard it, seeing as how the political climate that was going on then, and when we did Carnegie Hall, we decided to include it on that live album. But I think it just sort of fell into the cracks between the scheduling of our studio recordings. So that would have been somewhere around between Chicago 3 and Chicago 6, let's say. And we were making the transition at that point from recording our albums in New York City to moving to Colorado and starting to record at Caribou Ranch in Colorado. So I think that's how it fell by the wayside.
Sure. Well, I happen to have two album copies of your Skinny Boy release. One is still sealed, and the other one was one that I just played to death. It just wore the grooves out on it. So
beautiful.
And probably one of the songs on there that I even still sing today or relate to today is the song Temporary Jones.
It's a great song.
I love that song. I love that
song. Thank you very much.
But I personally kind of relate to that song myself because I kind of see myself in that song. So that's why it resonates with me so much.
That's great. I think a lot of us see elements of ourselves in that particular song. It's a great lyric by a great lyricist who really wrote his greatest lyrics for Duke Ellington. So I was lucky enough to be kind of adopted and befriended by the family of Bob Russell, who's a lyricist, and they were kind enough to show me a book of lyrics of his that he had written that had never been set to music, and they asked me to go ahead and choose one, and I chose Temporary Jones for that very reason, that I could relate to that character.
Well, Robert, last year Chicago put out the Stonosiphsis release, which really was a treat for fans. I would think that the hardcore fans kind of already had it because a lot of that stuff had been floating around through the bootleg circuit. But what caused you guys to put that record out and then obviously go tour it hard?
Well, fortunately, a couple of years ago, we began an association with Rhino Music, and Rhino, as you know, is a record company, unusual record company, in that they're in business really because they love music, and they love, especially they love music that most people haven't had a chance to hear. So the Stonosiphsis was released sort of in sequence from all the reissues and remasters that Rhino Music had been doing once we associated ourselves with them several years ago. And they were thrilled to find this unreleased album in the archives, and they really wanted to do a serious release. They wanted to release it as if it were a brand new album that had just been recorded. So it was really through the enthusiasm of Rhino Music that album finally saw the light of day.
Well, Robert, I saw you guys back in '93 when you were doing the poll live because you were anticipating the release of that. And then, of course, it never came out. It got shelved. And I thought that was a very aggressive, album for you guys. And it was just unfortunate that, the suits at the time didn't like it.
Well, yeah, and it was an album that we had been waiting several years to be able to make. That is an album of more aggressive songs and aggressive approach than some of the albums we had done previously, especially in the late '80s, that were really kind of being directed and mandated by the record companies to do more of the power ballad stuff that we had so much success with on radio.
Sure. Well, Robert, your last CD was kind of a mid-tempo, the Chicago CD, that is, was sort of a mid-tempo. There weren't any real quote-unquote rockers on that, even though, like I've told you, I've seen you guys in excess of 40 times live. You guys still do a lot of the really older, harder stuff like Free and, obviously 25 or 6 to 4, and it's obvious that you guys can still pull off the harder edge. Would there be any chance in the near future, if you choose to record another Chicago CD, that you would go with a more harder edge, or is that just not possible for Chicago in the marketplace today?
Well, I think that it's a blessing that the marketplace as such has changed so much that it doesn't really matter whether or not there's an album full of ballads, because, as you know, radio has changed so much. MTV is all but gone, and so we are talking about going in and doing another studio album probably next year, probably 2009, and I think that it will tend to be closer to what was on Stone of Sisyphus rather than what was on Chicago 30.
Right.
Chicago 30 was a perfectly nice album, as you say, but not, other than, I think there was one song, 90 Degrees and Freezin', which was fairly aggressive, one of my songs. I tend to write in that direction anyway. But other than that song, everything else was sort of, as you say, sort of mid-tempo and kind of easygoing. But I think that there's a very good chance that the next album will be, somewhat more aggressive, although, the strength of Chicago is that we do all kinds of styles, and the guys in the band who write to kind of express themselves. So we wouldn't necessarily just say, we're only going to record harder edge, up-tempo things, but I think that will definitely be in the mix.
Sure. Well, Robert, obviously after 40 years of doing Chicago, and I think you guys have, 20 or 30 top 10 hits that have been out there. I mean, just a massive amount of hits. Do you ever hear your own stuff on the air and just be like, oh, I kind of didn't like that song?
Well, to be honest with you, I very rarely notice if our stuff is on the air, but there are very few songs that I'm embarrassed by. I mean, there are one or two that I think I would have done differently, if I had known then what I know now as a musician. But by and large, I'm very proud of each and every song I've written and each recording that we've done. I hope not to sound immodest, but again, I think that's one of the things that continues to propel the band and propel Robert Lamb as a writer and as a performer. Is that there's always that urge to do something better than you've done previously, and that's really what keeps us going.
Sure. Well, Robert, you, Lee Loughnane, Jimmy Pankow, and of course Walter Parazader make up the nucleus of the original band. And, I hate to think that Chicago would ever come to an end, because that pretty much is a summer staple for me personally, and I'm sure millions of other fans. But at what point would cause you to say, all right, we're done with this. We've had a great, 40-plus year run. At what point would you go, we're done?
Well, to be honest with you, I personally can't imagine it. I have no intention of stopping. And I know that the other fellows feel the same way. We've just had an incredible 2008 where we toured in Asia, and we went back to Europe for the first time in 30 years, and it was a triumphant return to Europe. And I know that we're going to be going back again in 2009. So, I just cannot imagine, what would turn to each other and what would make us turn to each other and say, okay, well, that's it. Let's call it a day. there's just nothing I can imagine other than some sort of tragedy.
Sure. Well, that's very encouraging to hear that that's not in the near future or in the plans at all. So I look forward to rocking with Chicago for the next 30 years.
That would be lovely.
Well, real quick, Robert, I know we're coming up on our time here, but you guys, been doing it for 40 years, and have you guys ever questioned why you haven't been nominated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Ever so briefly, we're sort of always, we know that from friends of ours who are on the board and are part of the voting process that inducts the Hall of Fame people. We know that we've been on the ballot virtually every year since we've been
eligible.
Yes, eligible. But we've gotten to the point where it's just it's one of the least important. It's one of the least important. I don't know what you would call it. If you would call it a accomplishment, I don't know if it's an accomplishment, but
honor.
It's just not that important. It's I'm not even sure it's an honor. It's because it's in terms of who's already there and who yes, I think we deserve to be there. But it's just not that important to us. What's more important to us is being able to continue to perform and record. And I think someday we'll probably be in the Hall of Fame, but it's not anything that we worry about.
Sure. And you shouldn't, because your legacy basically speaks for itself, and the heck with the Hall of Fame.
Well, I kid around a lot of times with interviewers. Interviewers have asked me that question. How do you feel about not being in the Hall? And I always say, you mean we're not in the Hall of Fame?
Nice. Well, Robert, it's been 22 years since Peter Cetera departed the band. If there was a place down the road that perhaps for whatever reason he wanted to perform with Chicago, even as a one-off, would that be something that would be acceptable to the rest of the band, or is that door pretty much closed?
There's no acrimony or anything like that. It's just something that he hasn't wanted to do. And there was a window, maybe 15 years ago or so, where there was some talk about Peter coming out and touring with us, but he backed off at the end. So it's not any. It's, as you say, it's been 22 years, and we've moved way beyond where we were as a band when Peter was there. So I guess that's a long answer. The short answer is, we never say no. We always are open to almost anything. But the tours that we've been enjoying lately, working with Earth, Wind and Fire and America and Hall & Oates, we've really been enjoying those tours, and I think there's a very good possibility next summer we'll be back with Earth, Wind and Fire again.
Excellent. Well, I saw the 2-year run with that, and probably the highlight for most everybody is obviously the big jam session that you guys have at the end of the show, where all of you are out on stage trading vocals, trading leads, with each other's music. So that's just pretty phenomenal, and I really enjoyed the Doobie Brothers show this year with Chicago and the Doobie Brothers and the big jam session at the end. That was great.
Yeah, the Doobies were a lot of fun, and that was very easy. Obviously the Earth, Wind and Fire stuff required a lot of rehearsal because of all the bodies and the complexity of the music. But the Doobie Brothers was just a lot of fun because it was just so easy and natural. And, we really enjoyed touring with those guys. They're lovely people, and I'm sure we'll do that again at some point down the road.
Sure. Well, Robert, I got to tell you, it's been a real honor having you here on the morning show with us, and as you can tell, I'm a huge fan, and just.
Do you have the Bossa Nova album? Do you have the Bossa Project album?
No, I don't.
Well, that's my latest solo album, and it came out in May, and it's been nominated for a Grammy for Best Jazz Vocal Album. So for people who are fans of Robert Lamb and love Brazilian music, it's something worth listening to. Of course, you can listen to it on iTunes. You can download it there, or you can just find it at Amazon.com. It's the Bossa Project, Robert Lamb.
Excellent, Robert. Well, Robert, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us here on this Thanksgiving holiday morning, and looking forward to seeing Chicago for many years to come, and hopefully that new Chicago CD in the works will be a real rocker.
Fantastic. I appreciate the chance to talk to you guys.
All right, Robert. Well, we always let our guests pick a departing song and maybe tell us a story about it. So is there something from your catalog or Chicago catalog, or even maybe one of your favorite artists that you'd like us to play?
Gee, talk about putting somebody on the spot. Well, let's see. It's Thanksgiving, right?
Sure.
So, maybe, I've always loved work on the big band album and the Christmas album. So anything from those two albums, I think perhaps the Christmas album, there might be a sort of a non-denominational Christmas season type song somewhere on there. So feel free to choose one.
Okay. Excellent, Robert. And you got a website out there people can look you up?
Sure. There's robertlamb.org, and there's also a Robert Lamb YouTube/Robert Lamb, and there's also MySpace/Robert Lamb.
Excellent, Robert. All right, again, that's Robert Lamb from the legendary band Chicago, and let's play something from this Christmas release, Chris.
All right, let's go with some some classic Chicago.
Right here on KEIF, the Rocket Morning Show.
Hey, this is Sebastian Bach, and you have come to rock. Happy holidays, and keep it metal.
That's Chicago right here on KEIF 104.7, the Rocket, with the Christmas song. And we want to thank Robert Lamb of the band Chicago for calling into the Rocket this morning on a Thanksgiving morning. Can you believe it, Chris? A guy of his stature, especially who's been a veteran in the music world, taking a few minutes to talk to us on Thanksgiving of all things.
Well, it's obvious he likes the fans, man, and even on a holiday, he wants to reach out and thank them for, building his house and his garage and his bank account.
Sure. What do you think? Not that this has any bearing on it, but after all these years, after all the CDs that they've sold, after all the world tours, what do you think those guys are worth?
I'd say at least $50,000-$60,000.
That's it, huh?
Well, there was those 70s where everybody had a drug habit.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it, and one of the smart things that the band Chicago did is they formed a company.
Okay.
Early on, and they even take care of their former guitarist's wife and family, out of the proceeds of the band.
Really?
Yeah, they do. It was sort of like a what do you want to call it? Not a trust, but like a pension plan.
Okay.
So they had it set up, and I'm gonna say that each of those guys probably are worth, I don't know, $100 million.
Oof, wow, that'd be nice, huh?
You think?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So,
$100 million for singing a couple of tunes. That's pretty sweet.
A couple of tunes?
Well, 30, 40 hits, but whatever.
Yeah, seriously. But you think about those tours. They toured relentlessly for the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've sold 200 million records.
Right.
They tour every summer.
Mm-hmm.
They own their own Chicago record label where they owned all of their, the copyright and all the music, which they, I guess they made a partnership with Rhino Records.
Okay.
And, repackaged and resold so many of their CDs again and again. So, you gotta think those guys are worth at least $100 million apiece.
Well, now we got Robert's phone number. Maybe we can get in nice with them and, cut his grass or something.
Nice. Well, once again, we want to thank Robert Lamb of the band Chicago for being part of the Rocket Morning Show on this Thanksgiving morning. And we're having a good time, right, Mikey?
Oh, yeah, I'm having a great time sitting here talking with you guys. Probably the funnest thing I've done in the 7 months I've been calling in the show. It's the most fun thing I've ever done.
Excellent. Wow. Well, the time is running short here on the Rocket Morning Show, so I think we should get into some music. We'll come back, and we'll wrap up the show. What do you think, Chris?
Sounds like a plan, man.
All right, we're going to jump into some Edwin McCain there, Mikey. You know anything about Edwin McCain?
Edwin McCain. Oh, sorry.
I told you to be ready.
Oh, it's like there you go. There you go. I just had him up a minute ago. He was born January 20th, 1970 in Greenville, South Carolina, and is an American alt-rock singer-songwriter. His albums are released under his name. He does have a permanent band known as the Edwin McCain Band. Members of it include Larry Cheney, lead, guitar, Pete Riley, rhythm and background, Craig Shields, saxophone and keyboards, Manny Yanes, bass, and Peter Alexander, drums.
All right, excellent. Well, I think Edwin McCain had you in mind, Mikey, when he wrote this song. So why don't you go ahead and introduce this song here?
Okay, this is Edwin McCain with Go Be Young on your 104.7 The Rocket Morning Show.
Hey, it's Robert Mason from Big Cock.
And this is Dave Henserling from Big Cock.
And we're both wishing you the happiest of holidays. Ho, ho, ho!
And just remember, rock out with your cock out.
It's KEIF 104.7, The Rocket Morning Show, here on Thanksgiving morning 2008. That's Badfinger with No Matter What. And that isn't the crappy Def Leppard cover version. That's the actual Badfinger version. And, Mikey, you know anything about Badfinger at all?
No, not much about them. I haven't heard their music, much of anything. I mean, besides this one song, I don't know anything about them.
Well,
I mean, I know they were formed in Wales in the 60s and were the earliest reps of power pop in the genre.
Right. Well, who were they trying to compete against or be the next wave of? There was a very, very famous band in the rock music genre that they were going to kind of they were going to attempt to kind of replace them since they were no longer.
The Who?
No, the Who is the Who is still around, my friend.
Spencer Davis Group?
No.
Moody Blues?
No, the Moody Blues are still around, Mikey.
Yardbirds?
No. Somebody huge, the most influential rock band probably in the history of rock and roll.
The Beatles?
Monkeys?
Monkeys.
No, the Beatles. They were supposed to be the next Beatles.
Oh, okay.
But they had some tragedy and misfortune in their history. A couple of their members committed suicide as well.
I'm looking here at my notes. Badfinger fell victim to some of the worst elements of music industry, resulting in its two principal singers and songwriters committing suicide, one in 75 and one in 83.
Right.
Ouch.
Right. So what is it? What do you think what do you think it is about some of these musicians who are out there offing themselves? I think these guys actually hung themselves, didn't they?
It doesn't say how they did it. It just
you got a guy firing up some grills and asphyxiating himself, and you got a guy shooting himself, and you got guys hanging themselves, and what's up with all that?
I don't know. I mean, they have the world before them. Why would they hang themselves?
Who knows?
Or kill themselves in any way, shape, or form?
Sure. Any thoughts on that,
Tough life making your money singing songs. I mean, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's not a bad career. I mean, you got the entire world before you. You got everything you could ever want and more. Why are you going to off yourself? Where is that going to get you?
Anyway, moving off that, Mikey, we just experienced a national election for a new president, and if anybody's ever heard you on the Classic Metal Show on Saturday nights over at cmsradio.net, a lot of people know that you're kind of a staunch Republican for being 12 years old.
Yes, I am.
So what's your thoughts on the Democrats winning the presidential election as well as winning some seats in the Senate as well as the House of Representatives?
I think as far as Mr. Obama goes, or now President-elect Obama goes, I think he will make a good president. I personally didn't back him, but I'm pretty sure he will make a great president. I can't judge him because I don't really know him very well. I'm pretty sure he's a great guy outside of the whole political realm, but in the realm, I just disagree with him on a few things, and I hope America spoke, and they must think that he was the best man for the job.
Well, why do you think he's a great guy outside, Mikey? What makes you think that he's probably a good guy? Because most politicians are scumbags.
Because one of the reasons why I think that is because of his kids. When he was running for this, you didn't hear a lot about them. I know that they were young, but you didn't hear much about them. They weren't really well known. He didn't mention them a lot or bring them up a lot. And I think that's a smart move because now that he is elected, there should be so much spotlight on that.
Well, maybe he's just a deadbeat dad.
I don't know that because I don't know him personally, so.
Well, Mikey, what do you think? Do you think that this guy has any kind of ability to rejuvenate the economy since he's all about the change?
I don't know. I mean, he could. I mean, based on what I've seen, based on what he said, it sounds like a good theory, as he's saying. But you really don't know how he's going to act. If he's going to lean more harder wing left or harder edge left, or if he's going to go towards the middle of the aisle. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you just have to watch and see.
Well, excellent analysis there, Mikey. So, what do you think is going to happen in the next 4 years? Do you have any predictions?
I'm not going to predict anything because I just don't want to. I don't want to be held. Number one, I don't want to be held accountable for saying stuff. But number two, I don't want to predict it because I think it'll kind of jinx anything that could happen that would be good for the country. You really think your thoughts are really going to jinx the future? Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to predict anything because anything could happen.
So, Mikey, what do you think is going to happen then with the current president, President Bush? I mean, most guys, they get out of office and they go and they form a library and they write books and, they go on to be kind of, celebrities of sorts. But a lot of people don't like President Bush. What do you think is going to happen there?
I don't know. I think it's just going to go on and I think he's just going to go and rest and take some time out for himself. He said 8 years in the White House. So, I mean, evidently you're going to need some rest from having all that excitement for 8 years, staying up at night, wondering how you're going to keep the American economy going, and plus a lot of other things.
Well, overall, Mikey, what kind of a job do you think President Bush did?
In the beginning, I think he was absolutely phenomenal. I think during 9/11, he got us back together as a country, as one people. And he did an excellent job, but then he kind of slumped, in my opinion. He went a little bit downhill. But I think in the next few months, I think he could pull it together and make himself out a decent president.
So what about Dick Cheney there, Mikey? You think he did a good job?
Dick Cheney, you really didn't hear a lot from.
Except for when he shot a dude when he shot that attorney in the face?
Yeah, except for when he shot that dude in the face.
Well, Mikey, do you think that Dick Cheney was the master of puppets pulling the strings, as Metallica would say?
Yeah, I kind of think so. I think he was the power behind the throne there.
Really?
Yes.
And why do you think that?
Because a lot of his decisions were based on what Dick Cheney wanted.
How do you know that?
Yeah, there's that air. His decisions were based on a lot of a bent that Mr. Cheney had.
Well, what do you think about the war, Mikey? You think it's going to finally end now? With Osama in the office?
With President-elect Obama, I should say, in office, I think that he will try to end it. But if we leave, I think they truly are going to follow us. They hate us so much, they're going to follow us.
You don't think they're just going to kill each other?
No, I mean, it would be great in the perfect world if we could just leave there and say, fight amongst yourselves, but we can't.
Well, we could.
We could, but I mean, they'd eventually get bored and say, why are we fighting against them? They're the infidel.
Infidel? What is this, biblical times?
No, but I just thought it would be a good word to use.
So why don't you think, Mikey, they should just drag the women and children out in the street, stick a grenade in their mouth, and pull the pin, and send a message to these people that if they keep messing with us, that they've got some real warfare to deal with.
Because why are you gonna kill someone that's innocent that didn't even do anything to hurt you, and it's just trying to live their life the best they can with what they can? Why are you gonna
you kill a few to warn the many?
But, I mean, why are you still going to kill them? I mean, if you were really going to do it, why not just drop a nuke over there?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Why didn't we just drop a nuke over there?
Why not?
Because that would kill everyone over there, and that's not fair to them. That's not fair to
let's look at history, Mikey, and I'm sure you've studied this before. It sure worked with the Japanese.
Yeah. I don't really know how to put this. I mean, if we make a sheet of glass over there, we're just going to... Because there are sleeper cells and cells all over the world that can be instantly awoken and done to do whatever the leader has set in mind, whether it be blowing up something, doing it on 9/11, whatever. Anything could happen. So I mean.
But are we going to constantly live our lives in fear? Is that the new world, that we have to always look over our shoulder because some raghead wants to blow us up?
No, I think we should be able to not have to look over our shoulder, but at the same time, why wipe out millions of people just to get a few people that are bad? Why wipe out whole countries just because you want to get 50 or 100 people that you don't like out of there?
We got to prove that we're the strong.
We are the strong. If you've looked at us and studied us, we fought through we fought the Revolutionary War, a war within our own country, and World War I and II, Korea, Japan, Vietnam, and Desert Storm, and this one. I think we can get out of this by looking back on history.
Well, Mikey, I can tell you from Desert Storm 1. You know why we won Desert Storm 1? Because we didn't put up with any crap.
Yeah, we just said this is the way it's going to be.
That's right. We mowed them down. Proud to have done so.
Cool.
All right, Mikey. Well, we appreciate your political analysis and input. So look out, Sean Hannity, because here comes Mikey.
No, right. I admire Sean Hannity very, very,
well,
very
just
much.
Because you admire him doesn't mean that, aspiring to be like him or having a position like him isn't such a bad thing. We all look up to somebody, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the Rocket Morning Show this morning on KEIF 104.7. And we want to thank our special guest, Robert Lamb from Chicago, for calling in this morning. And also, we want to thank our good friend, preteen Mikey, for taking third mic this morning on a Thanksgiving morning. So what's going on the rest of your day, Mikey?
Not much. After I get off here, I'm going to probably go over and eat some turkey and some dressing. And going to sit down and eat some more. And I'm done. Eat some more. And then sit down and just go upstairs and sleep.
So you're just going to basically eat and sleep like a slug, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
I might go and do the football with Dad, but...
All right. Well, it's been a great show this morning, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Rocket. We want to thank the Rocket staff for allowing us to take over the morning show this morning, and we look forward to doing it again somewhere down the road. Any plans for us, Chris, that you're aware of?
Not yet, but there's always holidays coming, so we'll see.
Excellent. All right, well, you can catch Chris and I on the Classic Metal Show here on KEIF The Rocket on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Central Time, and also catch the uncensored version of the Classic Metal Show at cmsradio.net on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Tune in if you can handle a little bit of... what do you want to call it, Chris?
Filth?
I guess it is. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and thanks for tuning in. And Mikey, since you're our third mic this morning, we want to let you pick a song to take us out of this morning show.
How about let's pick Kicks with Blow My Fuse?
Okay, any reason?
Because my dad bought Blow My Fuse about 2 weeks ago, and I've been listening to it nonstop, and I love it, and I thought that was the best song on the album.
All right, excellent. Well, happy Thanksgiving there, Mikey.
You too, and to everyone listening.
All right, Chris, and I will catch you on the CMS Friday night.
All righty, let's go eat.
All right, here it is. This is Kicks with Blow My Fuse exclusively here on what, Mikey?